What's going on, you guys? It's your girl Charmaine and your boy Jeremiah. In today's video, we will be showing you how to make vegan dough, I guess. You can use this for regular bread, tortilla chips, regular tortillas, empanadas, flatbread, and whatever else you want. You could even boil them up into little bowly doughs and deep fry them and add a sauce on the side. Stay tuned and like, comment, subscribe, and share if you like our content. Here it is. So my first step was to add 2 cups of flour. I used rye flour and I used spelt flour. I mixed both of the flours together because I literally had 1 cup of both. Usually I would use either rye flour by itself or spelt flour by itself and then add the rest of the ingredients. The type of flour that I used was the Arrowhead Mills organic flour for the rye and the spelt flour. I got it from Whole Foods, and I think you can get it from stores like Food Town and other specialty stores. Once you have your 2 cups of flour, whether it's rye flour or spelt flour or a combination of both, you take your fork and you mix it in. After mixing it thoroughly together, you take your pink Himalayan salt and you add, I want to say, a pinch, but gracefully at the same time. I eyed this because my pink Himalayan salt is like huge. In other words, my pink Himalayan salt is not grounded up there, it's still whole. So just be careful if you're using pink Himalayan salt. Just be mindful when using 2 different flours, the texture will change. So right here, I'm using a 1/3 cup of flour to begin. Pinch by pinch, like I didn't pour the whole thing in and I stirred it up. And when you get to a certain point, like it's going to get clumpy, and that'll basically ensure that it's ready to be rolled by your hands. Stir, 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 and it's gonna look crumbly and sandy a little bit, like you see here in the video. But just keep stirring until you have the consistency that you want. For this process, you can either use a bowl or your countertop to mix the flour in. As always, Jeremiah wanted to help, which is fine, and he wanted to eat and taste the product even without like other seasonings in it, which I think is really cool. So with the help of Jeremiah, he got it to a consistency of it being crumbly where we need it to be. But I added a little bit more water just because I felt like it wasn't where it was supposed to be. So I added maybe about another full 1/3 cup of water. Even though literally right here is good. As I'm mixing everything together, here's when I realized that I really needed more water. I went back in with my fork because I felt like it needed to be mixed with the utensil versus my hand. And then once I got it to the consistency that I really wanted it to, and I believe adding a little bit more water, I then went back and started using my hands. So during this process, I added a little bit more spelt flour to the bottom of my bowl, just to cover the bottom, to put on my dough because it was too sticky. I'm not even gonna lie. I added a little bit too much water, so I added some more flour to even everything out. So after I added a little bit more of spelt flour to the bottom of my bowl, lastly, I added just date syrup. Honestly, I do not know why I add the date syrup at the end. I should incorporate it during the process, but I didn't. So I put a nice amount of date syrup into the palm of my hand, and I rubbed it together in between 2 hands and like basically lotioned my bread. The date flour does smell like molasses. It reminds me of molasses. I work it in, and then I place it by my oven for about 20 minutes. Put the dough back inside the bowl and placed it by my oven for about 20 minutes. I usually put it there for about 20 minutes, but this particular day, I put it there for a whole hour to proof. And it is something called overproofing your bread, but my bread was good when I went back to it. Mainly because my kitchen wasn't too hot.